Hi everyone, and welcome to the book Refuge, and welcome to another reading recommendations video. Sorry that I'm a hot mess in this one. If you saw the last one, you know, life's been a little bit crazy, trying to get my video schedule back on track. I had so many videos pre-filmed, guys, like so many. And then all of a sudden I look and I'm like, crap, tomorrow's Thursday and I don't have any videos filmed. You're not seeing this one on that, you're seeing it on a different day, but I'm recording a couple because I'm going to be gone for the weekend and I need videos. And I've always been so good at being on top of it, but stuff happens. Well, anyway, today we are doing a recommendations video that I never think I was going to make because I did not know that this was a thing that I was into. I didn't. Pardon me. But sister, I'm sure you're not watching this one because she thinks that I'm a little bit goofy now, but I fell down a rabbit hole of male-male romances, and I'm not ashamed of it. I don't have problems with it. It's just not what I expected to like because I've never been interested in it before. And I talked about this on one of my, like romance books, romance videos before, is that I have tried so many new things lately, and I'm really happy because I found some tropes and like, not genres, but subgenres that I just wouldn't have before. And what kicked me off into this was actually reading For Real, which is on this list as well, so I might as well start with it. It was also in my DS romance recommendations video because it is a dom-sub relationship, but it's so cute because it's with a baby dom he's not a baby, but like he's 19 and he's just finally, this is his first time getting to be a dom. And this sub who is just so over it, like a submissive who's just so over it. And this was a male-male romance, and I read it because I like DNS, and then I read this because it was suggested by the Fated Mates podcast when they were talking about like BDSM and male-male romances and stuff. And I read it and I loved it and it made me cry, and you should read it. And I talk more about it in that other video in more depth what it's about, but it broke my heart, and I've read it 3 times since I first read it, and it hurts me every time. It's so good. So next, let's kind of go in the order that I like fell into them. So next I read Him and Us by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen. And I read this because it was on a Romanceopoly card where you're supposed to read a sports romance, which I hate sports romance. So I took their recommendation to read it. And this was about these 2 boys. Let's see if I can remember their names. Wes and Jamie. Yes, I remembered it. And they had been friends and went to hockey camp together and had been camp counselors together. And then one night they get drunk and things go a little too far, and Wes realizes that he's gay. And then he breaks up their friendship and never talks to Jamie again, and is kind of quietly gay, but like living the life. And then he runs back into Jamie like a few years later, and Jamie's like, "Why did you stop being my friend?" And Wes admits that he really liked that night that they went too far together, and he was worried that he'd ruin their friendship. And Jamie is like, "Screw you, man. It was fine. It was consensual. I had a fun time. Why are you being a baby about this? I lost my best friend because of it." And so they become friends again, and Jamie starts to have feelings for Wes, and Wes is worried that Jamie just wants to like fool around with him just because, and it starts a whole relationship that is awesome. And so there's Him and Us, and it gave me the warm and fuzzy feelings, and it started me down a rabbit hole. So after I read those 2, I came across, who did I read next? I came across the Like Us series by Krista and Becca Ritchie, which was it's called Billionaires Bodyguard series. And currently there's 6 books in it, but there's more coming. And the first 3 and then the last book are about Maximus. Is it Maximus? Or Maximoff. Sorry, Maximoff and his bodyguard Pharaoh. And Maximoff has been in love with Pharaoh for a while. This one, they are already like both gay when it starts. Well, Maximoff is bi, but Pharaoh's gay. And Pharaoh gets reassigned to be Maximoff's bodyguard, and Maximoff is like, oh no, I'm in love with this guy. I'm going to have to be around him all the time. And Pharaoh really likes him, and he's totally willing to push it, even though it's against the rules, and it's probably not a smart idea. They're super attracted to each other, and they go for it. And this book is great. And it led into other books that I really like in this series too. And I found out that it's actually a sequel series to an entire other series, which I've started. It's not as good as this one, in my opinion, The Addicted to You. But anyway, this one is a male-male romance that just, these two guys, oh, I love them so much. I just love them so much. They give me all the feelings. So you should check them out. Then let's talk about Ella Frank, because the rest of my books are all by her, are the rest of like the game romances I read. So first there is I don't know the overarching name of this series, but it starts with Try by Ella Frank. And so this is about, this is so great. This is about Logan Mitchell and Tate Donovan. Is it Tate Donovan? I can't remember his last name. But Tate is straight, and he's just divorced his wife, and things kind of suck. And he's a bartender at this bar, and Logan Mitchell works for the firm that had handled his divorce, but on his wife's side of things. And Logan comes in and thinks Tate is a fine hunk of man, and he starts to pursue him. So this book is a bit controversial in some ways, because it's literally called Try. So Logan is trying to get Tate to give him a try. And I mean, there's 6 books in this series, so something works out. But anyway, they're great. Logan, he's a little bit bossy. He's a little bit pushy. Personally, I think he's really pushy, kind of like pushing Tate into this. But Tate is asked every step of the way if he wants to continue. And so it ends up being a really good story. And even more so why I love it, because I actually haven't read the last book in this series, because I read the first 3. And then like it was meant to be over, and the author actually came back to it and wrote what was happening like 4 years later. And I'm not super in to that. I was like, I feel like everything that was going to happen, like it kind of should have happened there. We also have something in that book, if this is a trigger warning for you, you're really dealing with some family members being pissed, because Tate was married to a woman for quite a while, and so his family, they're Christians, and they're not very nice to their son when he is changing how he lives. And whether or not my personal beliefs agree with his parents or not, what happens in the book, like, it's not okay. So just know that if that's a trigger warning for you, I'm warning you. So this series, we get introduced to someone named, who do we get introduced to? We get introduced to someone named Robbie, who, his series starts the Confession series, which the first 4 books are about Robbie and his 2 husbands. That's right, 2 husbands. And then we get introduced to Henry through that. So I'm not talking about that one, because that one I'm going to bring up when I talk about Menage stories, because it is. But I need to mention it because Robbie, one of his husbands, used to date Henry. And so Henry is who we meet in book 4. So you can skip right to book 4 of the Confession series, or 5 if you want to. And that's called Henry, because Henry was in love with Logan for a really long time. They grew up together in a really dangerous situation, but Logan and him just kind of stayed friends as benefits when they were older. And Logan fell in love with Julian, Robbie, and wait, not Logan. Logan's with Tate. Wow. With Priest. His name is Joel. Sorry, totally misnamed him. Logan was in a happy, anyway, whatever. Sorry. Whoopsie. So Henry is pretty like depressed when these guys get married, and they invite Henry and this guy named Bailey to their wedding that they have. And Bailey is a police officer who, in the beginning of the Confession series, we like meet Bailey, and he's this really like kind, patient police officer. And Henry is from the wrong side of the tracks, but these two have like instant attraction to each other. And it's so beautiful because it's one of those where there aren't ton of obstacles in their way, but yet there is a lot of stuff in their way, just based on like who they are. But the attraction, there is no problem there. There's nothing keeping them apart except like, are they willing to like trust this person with who they are? And it was beautiful. So Henry and Bailey is like a duology, and I really, really liked them. And the author says there's more to come from these guys, and I want it so bad. And I realized that was a really bad pun. Moving on. So then the last one's by Ella Frank I have to share. And this one is by Ella Frank and Brooke Blaine. And this is still in the same world. And I guess we like meet, because we meet, the main character's name is Ace Locke, and the guy's name is Dylan Prescott. And so this is actually like a Hollywood story. And Logan Mitchell, the first guy I mentioned from Try, he is Ace's attorney. So that is how like all these people connect. All the people through Ella Frank's books, they connect to each other. And so this one, I'm on the 3rd book in this series, and this is about Ace and Dylan. And Ace is like, I'm trying to think of the right person. Think of the most famous people in Hollywood you think of, and that guy coming out as gay. That's what's happening in this. So he's been gay his whole life. He's had a beard. He's had cover girlfriends, all these things. And he comes out as gay. And we have Dylan, who is an up-and-coming model. And he actually gets a part on Ace's newest movie, Insurrection 2. It's a war movie. And he has been in love with Ace, like, forever. And Ace almost runs Dylan over with his car, and he hops out and he's all pissed off, and then he sees that Dylan is the model from the poster that he's been staring at every day for 2 months and is so gobsmacked obsessed with. And so these two, one who's completely in love with the other's acting, and one who totally loves the other's body but has been a closeted gay man, they start this relationship, even though they try to fight it because like Ace has come out, but he isn't ready to like have a boyfriend and like be seen in public with it because it could ruin his career. And Dylan is just like so in love and doesn't want to do anything to mess it up. And it is beautiful. Like, it's gorgeous. They are such sexy, sweet people. And I'm almost done with that last book. And it's so fun. They've been so fun. So those are some of my male romance recommendations. I hope you'll give these a try. Between all these books, there's about 30 books there for you to get into with the series and the spinoffs. So if you need some male romances, I hope you're busy for a couple of weeks like I was. Let me know if there's any other recommendation videos I can make for you. I put up new videos every 3 to 4 times a week. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button because it really helps me out. Thanks so much for watching, and you have a great day. Bye.